Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to talk about Jordan, which is also known as the buffer state. So let's understand it in much detail. So I kindly advise you to have the map of Jordan first. Have a look at the map of Jordan first and then we would start. So yeah, let's begin. So if you look closely into the map of Jordan, it looks like ordinary map. No massive oil fields, no huge military, no nuclear weapons, no giant economy. So why it is one of the most strategically valuable country in Middle East? So the basic answer is Jordan is not powerful, it is important. And that's the huge difference. So suppose imagine your house. Now imagine all your neighbors are constantly fighting. One neighbor is fighting other. Someone else is having a civil war. Another has a terrorist group. But your job isn't to win those fights. Your job is to make sure that fire never reaches your house. And that's Jordan. Look around it. In West, Israel and Palestine territories, one of the world's largest running conflicts. In the north, we have Syria civil war, ISIS, Russian military, Iranian militias, drug smuggling, millions of refugees. At the east, we have Iraq, years of insurgencies, Iranian influence, American military presence. In the south, we have Saudi Arabia, the oil wealth, regional leadership, different strategic priorities. Jordan sits in middle of all of them. Think of it like a shock absorber. The shock doesn't disappear. Jordan simply prevents them from damaging the larger regional system. This is what we call as a buffer state. So, moving further, one of the important lessons in intelligence we need to understand is countries don't choose their geography, but the geography chooses their strategy. And Jordan is mostly desert, no large river except the Jordan River along part of its western boundaries. Very little farmland, almost no oil, very limited natural gas, very little water. If you are king of Jordan, you would quickly realize I cannot become rich from these natural resources. So what can a Jordan sell? So the simple answer is it sells something more valuable, which is stability. Most countries export product, but Jordan exports trust. This sounds strange, right? But think about it. If America wants military operations in Middle East, Jordan helps. If Europe wants refugee management, Jordan helps. If Israel ever wants peaceful eastern border, Jordan helps. If Saudi Arabia wants regional stability, Jordan helps. Jordan economy depends partly on being as a reliable partner instead of exporting oil. Jordan exports predictability. Chapter 4: Why America loves Jordan. Suppose imagine you are sitting in Pentagon. You need a country that is politically stable, friendly, not extremist, geographically central, trust, trusted by Arab countries, cooperative with Israel. Jordan checks these all boxes. That is why US has heavily invested in military cooperations, intelligence sharing, and economic assistance over many years. Jordan gives Washington something difficult to find in region, which is a dependable platform, not for launching wars, but for intelligence, logistic, training, regional coordination, humanitarian operations. So why does Israel needs Jordan? So once again imagine you are an Israeli military planner. Look at the east. If Jordan is stable, Israel's only need to worry about threats elsewhere. If Jordan becomes unstable, everything changes. Suddenly, Israel could face refugee flows, armed groups, border insecurity, disrupted cooperation. Jordan effectively acts as strategic eastern buffer. This is one of the reasons why 1994 peace treaty has endured despite political disagreements. So, moving further, we came across Jordan's biggest weapon isn't its army. So many people think military strength come from tanks, but sometimes Jordan's greatest weapon comes from its diplomacy. King Abdullah II spent much of his time balancing relationships. He talks to Washington, Riyadh, Cairo, Brussels, Gulf states, Israel, and Palestinian Authority. Do you notice something? Jordan tries not to become anyone's enemy. Its strategy is if everyone needs us, nobody wants us collapse. And this is the classic survival strategy for middle power. So what's the Jordan's biggest problem? The answer is the Jordan's biggest problem is money. Imagine running a country. You have no oil, little water, few natural resources, millions of refugees, high unemployment, growing cities, yet you still need schools, roads, hospitals, electricity, security. The government constantly faces financial pressure. This explains why Jordan values American aid, European aid, Gulf investment, international loans. These aren't just economic issues, they are national security issues. Economic weakness can lead to political instability. Moving further, why Aqaba is Jordan's lifeline. Now once again, I need you to look into map. Jordan has only one coastline, a tiny strip. At its end sits Aqaba. Imagine Jordan as a person breathing through a single nostril. That nostril is Aqaba. Almost everything imported into Jordan passes through this port. Fuel, food, cars, machines, military equipment, consumer goods. If Aqaba is were blocked, Jordan's economy would feel it quickly. That's why protecting Aqaba is strategically vital. Moving further, why energy matters so much? Jordan doesn't have much oil, so it buys energy from others. So once again, think about your home. Imagine your electricity depends on your neighbors. If they stop supplying power, you have a problem. And Jordan has learned this lesson repeatedly. Today it tries to diversify by using LNG imports, natural gas imports, renewable energy like solar, regional electricity links. The goal isn't just energy independence. The goal is avoiding dependency on single supplier. That's a subtle but important distinction. So, moving further, why refugee change everything? Jordan has taken a large number of refugees over decades, including Palestinian and Syrian. Many people see a refugee as only a humanitarian issue, but just think of it. How does this affect housing, water demands, schools, healthcare, employment, political instability? Every additional refugee population increases pressure on already limited sources. Jordan has generally managed this pressure better than many expected, but they remain in a long-term strategic challenge. Moving further, why Jordan doesn't pick sides easily? So suppose tension rise between America and Iran, Israel and Hamas, Israel and Hezbollah, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Jordan's instinct is not who should we fight. Instead, it asks, how do we stop this from reaching us? This is why Jordan often calls for diplomacy, ceasefire, regional dialogue, border security, humanitarian access. Critics sometimes see this as an indecision. From an intelligence perspective, it is a rational strategy for a state whose survival depends on limiting external shocks. Moving further, their military strategy. Jordan army is respected, but it is not designed to invade other countries. Its mission is different. Protect its border, stop smuggling, counter terrorism, respond quickly to incursions, support allies when appropriate. Think of Jordan as shield rather than a spear. Moving further, their hidden strategy. Now we reached what is called sometimes center of gravity. So Jordan understands something fundamental. It cannot compete with Saudi Arabia for wealth, Turkey's industrial base, Iran's regional network, Israel's technology, Egypt's population. Instead, it has found another way to be indispensable. It has become the country that everyone wants to remain stable. That gives Jordan influence beyond what its size should suggest. Now, let's move further to the assessment. So, Jordan survives and matters not because it dominates the Middle East, but because its geography, diplomacy, stability makes it regional buffer state, preventing conflicts in Israel, Syria, Iraq, and Gulf from merging into a wider regional crisis.